3 months ago, a woman walked into a mortgage office with a credit score of 621. She wasn't reckless. She didn't have gambling debt. She wasn't irresponsible. She had a stable job. She had income. She had savings. But the number on her file told a different story. The lender approved her, technically, but the interest rate was brutal. On a $350,000 mortgage, the difference between her rate and someone with excellent credit would cost her well over $150,000 across the life of the loan. Same house, same bank, same city, different number. She asked a simple question. If I improve my score, can I get a better rate? The loan officer gave the answer most people are conditioned to accept. Credit takes time. It builds slowly. And that's where most people stop. They accept that improvement is measured in years. They assume patience is the only lever. They resign themselves to the system. But she didn't. Instead of waiting, she started studying the mechanics. Not motivational advice, not credit repair myths, not online rumors, the actual formula. 90 days later, she walked back into that same office. Her score was 761. Same income, same employer, same financial reality, different understanding. That difference didn't come from disputing accurate information. It didn't come from hiding debt. It didn't come from manipulation. It came from realizing something most people never consider. The credit system isn't mysterious, it's mathematical, and math can be optimized. Most people are taught 4 simple rules. Pay on time, keep balances low, avoid too many new accounts. Wait, that advice is technically correct, but technically correct and strategically useful are not the same thing. Because here's what no one emphasizes. Every month you sit at 680 instead of 780, you are paying more. Higher auto loan rates, higher mortgage rates, higher insurance premiums, worse approval odds, higher deposits. The difference compounds quietly. The system charges you a tax for not understanding it, and banks don't rush to explain how to escape that tax. Why would they? A borrower in the good tier is profitable. A borrower in the excellent tier is cheaper. So improvement is framed as slow, gradual, time-based, but time is only one variable. Your credit score is not a moral evaluation. It's not measuring whether you're a good person. It's a probability model. It answers one question. What is the likelihood this person defaults within the next 24 months? That's it. The algorithm weighs 5 categories: payment history, utilization, length of credit history, credit mix, new credit inquiries. Most people obsess over payment history. And yes, missing payments damages your score quickly. But once your payment history is clean, the fastest gains usually come from somewhere else. Ratios, averages, timing. Let's talk about utilization. Utilization is roughly 30% of your score. It measures how much of your available credit you're using at any given moment. If you have a $5,000 limit and a $2,500 balance, you're using 50%, even if you pay it off every month. Here's the detail most people miss. Credit bureaus see the balance reported on your statement closing date, not your due date. If your statement closes while you're carrying $2,500, that's what gets reported. Even if you pay it off in full the next day, the system sees 50% usage. And high usage correlates with higher risk in the data, so your score reacts. Now imagine instead you pay that balance down to $50 before the statement closes. Now your reported utilization is 1%. Same spending, same income, same behavior, different timing. That adjustment alone can move your score 20, 30, sometimes 40 points within a single billing cycle. No waiting years, just precision. Now look at the equation itself. Utilization is balance divided by limit. Most people focus only on reducing the balance, but you can also change the denominator. If you have a $2,000 balance on a $5,000 limit, you're at 40%. If your limit increases to $10,000, that same $2,000 becomes 20%. Nothing about your spending changed, but the risk profile did. Many credit card companies allow credit limit increase requests using soft inquiries, which don't impact your score. You ask, they evaluate, they often approve. Yet most people never ask because they don't realize increasing capacity can lower perceived risk. Again, the system doesn't advertise strategies that make you less profitable. Then there's age. Length of credit history makes up about 15% of your score. It includes the age of your oldest account, the age of your newest account, the average age of all accounts. Most people assume this factor is purely time-based. I opened my first card at 25, I'm 30, I have 5 years, nothing to do but wait. But there's a structural feature built into the system called authorized user reporting. When you're added as an authorized user on someone else's credit card, that account can appear on your credit report, not just from today forward, it's full history. If that account has been open for 20 years with perfect payments and low utilization, that 20-year history can reflect on your report. Your average account age increases, your total available credit increases, your utilization improves, your profile appears more established. Originally, this feature was designed to help spouses build shared credit histories, but mechanically, it works beyond that. If done carefully, added to an old, clean, low utilization account, the impact can be significant within 1 or 2 reporting cycles. Of course, there's risk. If the primary account holder starts missing payments or runs up their balance, that behavior reflects on you. So this isn't about random additions, it's about trust and discipline. Now let's zoom out. Why does all this matter so much? Because your credit score doesn't just affect loans, it affects pricing. 2 people can buy the same car, same dealership, same vehicle. One pays 6% interest, the other pays 12%. That difference over 5 years is thousands of dollars. Not because one person is morally superior, but because one person's risk profile crossed a threshold. Credit scoring is full of thresholds. 660, 661, 662, 663. Crossing one line can unlock dramatically different terms, and those lines are closer than most people think. This is why timing matters. If you're applying for a mortgage, there's something called rapid rescoring. Most consumers don't know this exists. During an active mortgage application, lenders can request that updated information, like a paid-off credit card, be reflected on your report within days rather than waiting for the next cycle. That means strategic changes made during underwriting can alter your final rate. Timing isn't just about patience, it's about sequence. Now let's address what sabotages all of this. People apply for new credit while trying to optimize. Each hard inquiry temporarily reduces the score. Opening new accounts lowers average age. People let one billing cycle report high utilization because they forgot the statement date. One careless month can offset several optimized ones. Credit scoring is mechanical, but it's also consistent. Consistency wins. And here's the deeper shift. The credit system was not built to measure wealth. It was built to measure risk for lenders. It predicts default probability. It does not measure savings. It does not measure investments. It does not measure financial intelligence. It measures how predictably you operate inside the debt ecosystem. When you understand that, you stop feeling judged. You stop personalizing the number. You start analyzing the variables. The difference between a 680 and a 780 over a lifetime can mean tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. Lower mortgage rates, lower car loan rates, better insurance pricing, stronger negotiating power, and those savings compound. Not because the system loves you, but because you understand how it measures you. Credit improvement isn't mystical. It's ratios, it's averages, it's timing, it's reporting cycles. Once you see that, fear disappears. You're no longer at the mercy of an invisible algorithm. You're operating inside a formula, and formulas can be influenced. The woman who walked back into that mortgage office didn't change her identity. She didn't win the lottery. She didn't suddenly become wealthy. She changed her strategy. Same life, different math. And that's the shift most people never make. Credit isn't about waiting years for approval. It's about understanding how the system calculates risk and making sure it calculates yours accurately. Because once you understand the rules, you don't move slowly through them. You move deliberately, strategically, and over time, strategy compounds. That's money science. And now you don't just know your score, you understand it.